I want to begin this evening with a look at a small country surrounded by enemies, isolated, beleaguered, but with a great cultural past. This country has given the world much and has taken very little. It is defiant, proud, and it shows tremendous courage in the face of great dangers. Half of you in this room think I'm talking about Israel. The other half think I'm talking about Czechoslovakia. And you are both correct. Israel and Czechoslovakia have so much in common, and that is why we look to President Zeman with tremendous gratitude for his country's support of Israel over the years. That support goes all the way back to the very beginnings of the Jewish state. In 1947, when Israel was fighting for its life, most of the world felt great empathy for the tiny state in its war of independence, especially since it was only 2 years after the Jewish people rose from the mass destruction of the Holocaust. Yes, there was great empathy, but no one lifted a finger to help. No one except Czechoslovakia, which was one of the first countries to recognize Israel, and then went one step further. Czechoslovakia provided the weapons Israel desperately needed, in spite of an international arms embargo. Why did the Czechs do this? Why did they take a different route than every other country on earth? Because, I believe, they saw themselves in this fledgling new state. And I believe it was especially true when they watched the world turning its back on Israel. That same thing happened to Czechoslovakia just a decade before. If there's one lesson that we should all remember from Munich Accords in 1938, it's this: appeasement never works. Let me repeat this, because it's a lesson many of us seem to have forgotten. Appeasement never works. And it's a lesson that Israel has correctly lived by since its founding. That early Czech support of Israel did not stop 69 years ago. After the fall of the Soviet Union, one of the first foreign trips that President Václav Havel made was to Israel in 1990. 2 years ago, the Czech Parliament refused to follow the EU guidelines about labeling Israel products from the West Bank. And last year, in 2016, that same Parliament condemned the UNESCO resolution that severed all Jewish connection to the Western Wall and other religious sites in Jerusalem. A stupid equivalent that is the same thing as saying the Charles Bridge in Prague is not Czech. At the forefront of all these noble moves stands one man, President Miloš Zeman, a world leader guided by principles, a man who not only knows right from wrong, but has never been afraid to voice it. For your moral courage, for your great strength, and for your country's decency, President Zeman, we thank you. The award which I'm about to bestow upon you is called the Warrior of Truth Award. There are a lot of awards being presented throughout New York City during this week, but I can think of no other that is better suited for its recipient. If there ever was a perfect match, it's this, because, Mr. President, you are indeed a warrior of truth. The world needs more leaders like you, and we are so grateful that you have displayed this courage throughout your life. On our behalf, I say, and all Jews and all people of the world, we say thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shalom. Thank you for kind invitation. I am very glad to be here. 2 years ago at the Congress of AIPAC, I paraphrased the famous slogan of John Kennedy, Ich bin ein Berliner, and I said, I am a Jew. Ani Yehudi. Anyway, this is not enough, because we face the risk of the present world, and only the verbal form of solidarity is not sufficient. What are the risks of the present world as for the Jewish community and the State of Israel? At first, of course, it is Islamic terrorism. This is the topic I will speak tomorrow at the General Assembly of United Nations. And because I am not polite, I speak not about international terrorism, but about Islamic terrorism. But the topic which is important for our discussion among friends, is something different. You know, let us speak about lack of courage. Let us speak about the cowardness, about hesitation, about hypocrisy, about solidarity which is conditioned. I call it solidarity but. Let me give you a few examples only. Yes, of course, we support the State of Israel, but, no, contrariwise, but it is not the Jewish State of Israel. Yes, we support the fact that every country is to have its capital, but we are against Jerusalem as a capital. Yes, we fully respect the right of Israel to have the safety borders, but Golan Heights cannot be a part of territory of Israel, and so on and so on. Every killer from Palestine is fighter for freedom. And if you send missiles from Gaza Strip to Israel, it is bad, of course, but You cannot respond by bombarding Gaza Strip. Do you understand me? This is solidarity, but. And these buts completely neglect the full time of solidarity. What we need is solidarity without buts. In other words, we need unconditioned solidarity for Jewish people and for the State of Israel. What are we to do in the present time? We need a new candle against the darkness. We need concrete action and not only the words. And such a candle might be the removal of the embassies of democratic states from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. I proposed for the Czech embassy this removal 4 years ago during my visit to Israel. And Prime Minister Netanyahu told me, if so, I'll give you my own house. I hope his promise is still valid. Anyway, now, after the same promise of Donald Trump in election campaign, I think it might be a good hint, and this hint might be followed by some courageous countries. Not all countries, but courageous countries. So this is concrete solution, concrete gesture, concrete step towards real solidarity and not only solidarity by words only. Dear friends, that's why let me conclude by the last sentence of old Jewish prayer. Next year in Jerusalem. Thank you.